Alright, let's see. These are supposed to be the worst MrBeast allegations yet. Well,
The
let's see.
MrBeast allegations keep getting worse and there doesn't seem to be an end. So we're just gonna go over everything that's gone down in the past 2 weeks since my last video, including some very serious new allegations regarding Feastables. So last time everyone was concerned with the allegation that MrBeast hired a registered offender nicknamed Delaware as a contestant in his video, victim age 11, which is horrible. Since then, Jake the Viking confirmed in a tweet that Delaware is in
Yeah, not a good look. Not a good look. I mean, there was this document in which MrBeast outlines the way the company works, and he specifically even said that doing something that could hurt his PR is like strictly prohibited or something. So it's really kind of strange that he hired someone who is, this kind of person. It's really sus, if you will. Holy shit.
indeed his brother-in-law and
Sorry
a
for the
registered offender
language.
and was part of the MrBeast video and claims that Jimmy and his mom also knew about this and allowed it to happen. Now, if you thought that that was the only criminal that Jimmy was associated with, Rosanna Pansino tweeted out, "I've received confirmation from 5 verified contestants that for the first round of Beast Games, a man named Armani was allowed to compete. He was previously charged with at least 20 counts for battery, kidnapping, pandering or pimping, and robbery. He pled guilty to the pimping charge, acknowledging the significant..."
I don't know what that word means, and I probably don't want to know. Pandering? What the fuck is that? Wait, hold on a second. Immoral or distasteful desire or taste, or a person with such... I would... Honestly, guys, I would have to look more into it, like, there's probably some legal term or something. It probably means being a huge fucking creep or something. That's how I imagine it. Oh yeah, so he's just clarifying things here. He's charged with being a huge fucking creep. Nice. Well, this doesn't look good.
significant evidence against him. He allegedly also slept near female contestants before being kicked off set for inappropriate behavior. Some of the female contestants confirmed being very uncomfortable around him. He's also friends with Jake Paul and other influencers.
Can't imagine.
Why was there not adequate background checks to catch people like this? And there's a picture of Armani. Yikes, I don't think they took time for background checks. Good lord, my god, what else are you hiding? Now, obviously, this is really concerning if it is true, because you can't have criminals of this degree participating in your challenges, especially allowing them to sleep near female contestants when they might be uncomfortable. That is obviously a recipe for disaster, and Jimmy needs to conduct better background checks to avoid situations like this.
I mean, are you responsible for fuck-ups of someone else? Well, like, imagine you are MrBeast and, like, one contestant out of 500 turns out to be huge fucking creep. Like, yeah, it's bad, but is it really your fault? I guess with the Delaware guy, like, that's huge because it's confirmed that he knew that. And considering that he even has, like, the PR commitment or something in his papers, that is really bad look. But imagine you're running this show and, like, one of the... Like, let's say you invite 10 of your friends and 40 random guys, and one of them turns out to be fucking weirdo. Well, are you as a YouTuber responsible for that? Like, yeah, it's bad, but it's can you really know? That's kind of what I'm asking.
Rosanna follows up by saying he has changed his appearance since being in jail. Contestants said they believe he was in the green team in the group challenge. Multiple people have told me he allegedly received a lot of camera time and was to be part of the story.
No, not to like...
Here we got the alleged change.
Not to like defend MrBeast, but... You know, like you have to think about this logically. Like even if you want him to like be the bad guy or something because like you watched videos about how terrible he is, like you have to still consider like what would it be like to be himself, you know? You like the way I look at it, I always try to put myself in the shoes of someone else, which can be difficult because you're not that person, but you can at least imagine.
Appearance. I mean, at this point, Jimmy has to respond to this. That is allegedly 2 criminals that we now know of. I mean, there's plenty of people who would take part in a MrBeast video gladly with great personalities.
This is exactly what I was talking about.
Why they feel the need to scoop the bottom of the barrel with contestants and settle for actual criminals.
Oh, he's not making this point. Oh, right. Yeah, the thing is, how do you know if anyone is a criminal? Well, they could yeah. Now that I think of it, probably you can. Yeah. You probably can, like, check that. Holy shit. I changed my mind. Yes, this is a fuck up. This is a fuck up, guys.
It's just insane to me. Now, Rosanna also says in this tweet that they're basically messing with the outcomes of the Beast Games rounds.
This Rosanna is the girl that was kind of fucked over in one of the like competitions, I believe.
Confirmation from at least 10 Beast Games contestants. The production has been calling some people this week and telling them they are now kicked off the show and no longer allowed to compete. This appears to be a fairly large amount of people. These are people who made it to the next round of Beast Games and were set to fly to the next shoot in Canada. I'm waiting for additional confirmation, but it appears that production is allegedly also calling people who were eliminated in the first round and inviting them back onto the show. Production has so far refused to give a reason, but the most common theory I'm hearing is that it was because of psych evaluation given to contestants after the first round. In my opinion, they either did a psych evaluation of contestants too late, or they're playing favoritism with specific contestants. Either way, it is really concerning. Now, some people are saying this...
Not necessarily, but it's a little sus.
Could be favoritism, or maybe they're just kicking out cheaters and giving back chances to people who got cheated out of a win. Honestly, personally, I feel like changing results after the fact is always lame, and it should be monitored in real time so people know exactly what happened and it's more fair. You guys can form your own opinion regarding that. Now,
like exactly, there are laws about this favoritism, but it's like he's not really a... He doesn't really run a TV show, although it has reach, arguably even beyond TV show now. But it's really difficult to set the law appropriately. Like, historically you didn't have YouTube. It's really strange that you can just start up your computer and record something.
Rosanna also made a very concerning tweet. I've heard rumors from people working close with MrBeast that he's hiring PIs to investigate those speaking up against him. Thank you to the people who reached out to warn me and others. I now have confirmation from several people that individuals are indeed being offered money to fabricate stories about me and others. I have identified some of these people already. They began harassing my friends as of last weekend. I'm keeping all of the receipts. Okay, obviously...
Well, this is probably like, in my mind, the worst thing that MrBeast is doing is that he's trying to hide the haters. Like he's not responding to allegations really, and I think he's doing a huge disfavor to himself. It's and like this shit, like hiring private investigators. A YouTuber? Like, what the fuck? Like, are you Putin or something? Like, holy shit, this is such a bad look. Am I crazy? Like, this is by far the worst offense that I think he's doing. Like forget the faking of videos or whatnot, gambling to children. Like, hiring private investigators to silence critics? That's probably the worst thing that he's doing. Well, like, am I crazy here? I think that has to be the... Allegedly, of course. I'm not alleging anything. It's according to this lady. But if it's true, that's by far the biggest offense in my eyes.
Obviously, if that's true, that is really concerning. Fabricating stories about people is never okay. Personally, I'd like to believe MrBeast is not a part of this and somebody under him is taking it upon themselves to do something sinister. But the fact that she's saying people are being offered money to fabricate stuff is incredibly concerning. Now, before you ask, none of my friends have been contacted yet. All right, and I'd like to keep it that way, all right? I have got lawyers, all right, just in case. We got the squad ready. But personally, I'm just reporting the news and stating my opinion, so not really making any accusations myself, so it should be good. But yeah, hypothetically, if it's true, stay away from my friends and family, bro. That's some supervillain shit.
Yeah, that's
Anyways, moving on to...
That's some Putin shit. Holy shit. That's some Hitler SS and Vladimir Putin shit, man. That's not okay. That's
Feastables, big disclaimer.
That's a huge no-no, okay?
Next allegation is super serious, all right? I cannot confirm any of its legitimacy. I encourage everyone to do their own research and come to their own conclusions. That being said, YouTuber Honesty made yet another allegation against MrBeast, saying he's potentially using child labor or slave labor for his chocolate, which is incredibly concerning.
That's incredibly common, if anything. Am I crazy? It's like every chocolate company does this. Hello? If you buy a Kit Kat from store, it was probably... There's probably some slave labor involved in it. This is not like discovering America over here. Everyone knows this. Everyone should know this.
Everything in this video is alleged.
Like, it's horrible. Like, I'm not saying it's not bad. Like, of course it's horrible, but it's how would you say it? It's common industry practice. It's just how this world works.
And the conclusions are my own.
Because people don't want to pay double the price for chocolate, and this, like, I don't know. Would you personally pay, for example, 3 times for your chocolate if you know that there's no slave labor involved?
Opinion. Like many other industries, chocolate is notorious for its exploitation.
Exactly. It's super
of children
super
using
common.
child labor and slave labor. They use child labor, forced labor, unsafe conditions to farm these cacao beans that eventually makes its way to become chocolates at your table. With that being said, I'm going to try to prove my first point, that MrBeast is using child labor and slave labor for his chocolates today and has been since late 2023. When Feastables first launched in January of 2022, if you went into their FAQ, their frequently asked questions section, they proudly displayed that they were child labor free and slave labor free.
All right. Now I see. Now that's a little something, isn't it? He wants to claim that he wants the cake and eat it too. He wants to have it both ways. He wants to do the industry practice and pretend that he's not doing that. That's amazing. Allegedly, of course.
As a matter of fact, in April of 2023, they doubled down and they added to their list of main menu options this option that said, we're free. And if you clicked it, it had an entire dedicated page talking about how they were free of slave labor and child labor.
Let me close this tab. This is kind of embarrassing that I didn't know this already, to be honest with you.
But just a few months later, in October of 2023, that main page item that said "We're free" that was removed.
Oh,
in addition,
how convenient. How convenient.
frequently asked questions section, that stuff about being child labor free and slave labor free, that stuff also disappeared. Later in May of 2024, and even to this day, there's no mention whatsoever at all about any kind of ethical sourcing of ingredients. If you're thinking, oh, it's a mistake, or maybe they forgot, I think the chances of this being true are less than 0.001%. You see, MrBeast prides himself on hiring the best of the best, and there is no way marketers would forget to put this kind of information on their website because it would boost their brand favorability in the eyes of consumers. It's likely then that MrBeast is now using child labor and forced labor for Feastables chocolates. This is especially bad because it means that MrBeast and the Feastables team were very aware that child labor and
now that's crazy. Like, yes, I mean, if he didn't use slave labor, like, that would be huge, because that would be probably the only mass market chocolate brand that doesn't do that, right? Because what else do you have? You have like Nestle, which is like that's like a supervillain company. Okay, that's not a company that is a supervillain company, right? And so you would have some competition, like you can choose this slave labor chocolate or you can choose Feastables. But now it's like 1-to-1. Now it's like both is slave labor.
Forced labor, slavery exists in the chocolate industry, and yet decided to take advantage of the most weak and vulnerable.
It's kind of funny how he wants to portray himself as this kind of savior and shit, like doing philanthropy, like giving out houses and stuff, and meanwhile he's kind of using a little slave labor for his chocolate, you know? Isn't that something? Isn't that crazy?
Among us for personal gain. This is a bad look for any company, but it's worse for MrBeast because he puts on these large public displays of being a philanthropist and a role model to young children.
Okay, if all that is true, that is absolutely sickening. I don't know how it keeps getting worse. I know there's a meme that there's...
He doesn't think that, like, dude, this is common practice. Legit look into how chocolate is made. It's yeah. There's
no good billionaires and stuff, but I'm starting to
I don't know what to say. It's just not good.
Understand what it actually takes to get uber rich. Somewhere down the line, it seems something sinister happens where you might potentially have to sacrifice morals for more money. And yeah, based on what he said, that is some extremely shady behavior. Removing labels like that is extremely concerning because then you're allowing people to speculate like this and they're gonna assume the worst intentions. Now,
no, of course, like, it's almost 100% that he uses slave labor and stuff. It's like
Nestle goes on to say that in his
I don't need to keep beating this point to the punch, but you get what I'm saying. It's super
opinion. MrBeast actually knew about this and planned it this way, which is another insane allegation.
I think MrBeast knew the entire time, since the beginning of Feastables, that he was going to use child labor and slave labor for his chocolates, but he tried to trick us into thinking otherwise. To try and prove my point, I'm gonna first talk about the Feastables packaging, and then I'm gonna talk about the kosher and halal certifications. When MrBeast first launched Feastables, it was in line with his brand. They were clearly trying to do things ethically. They actually got a certification from the Rainforest Alliance. Once you're certified, you're able to use their logo, which is a little frog, on all of your products, your website, on all of that stuff. When I saw the packaging for Feastables, both old and new, there was no Rainforest Alliance certified logo anywhere. If one day that package has a frog logo on it and the next day it disappears, people will notice. So instead, they decide to only put it on their website because at the end of the day, who the hell reads a website except for weirdos like me? By doing it this way, I think they tried to fool everyone into thinking that their chocolate is still child labor free and slave labor free.
Okay, listen, I'm not gonna speculate on MrBeast's intentions because I don't know what is going on in his head, obviously. But the facts that he presented of removing those labels and refusing to put that little logo on the chocolate bar, that is some concerning stuff. At this point, MrBeast is gonna have to wait until the end of the earth to respond because he said he's only gonna respond after all the allegations are made in one final.
I mean, like, if I have to put myself in his mind, and let's say I'm starting this chocolate business and I want to present this as this healthy, morally superior option, and I know that down the line I want that money, right? Yeah, like, not placing that like Rainforest Alliance mark on your chocolate, that's a great thing, because like you don't have to change it if you no longer comply with the standard, right? It's kind of but this is like a supervillain shit. Holy fuck.
Response. So I don't know, more and more keep coming out, man. Now we move on to MrBeast's apology. Basically, you guys remember Jake Weddle. He was the contestant in one of MrBeast.
To be completely honest with you guys, I kind of don't like this guy. I kind of don't like him. It's like I think it's really sad that he was in this like torture situation, like without sleep, and like allegedly he has like health problems still today.
The MrBeast allegations keep.
No, oh my god, where was I? You know what? I'm gonna go on the toilet. Be right back, guys. Right. Hold on a second. Right, so this Jake Weddle guy, I mean, it's really sad that he was in this situation that he still has problems with today, but I think he has one huge problem, and it's that he's just not likable enough. And I think he can fix it, because his main problem, in my opinion, is that it's really hard to understand him. He speaks so poorly. And I thought that in his video it was because he was so in this state of PTSD, if you will, and so that kind of made his voice tremble and whatnot. And I can see myself in that situation, that I would have probably trouble speaking in that situation as well. But I checked out his channel. And oh my god, he's just so bad at speaking. Like, if you want to be a public personality and you want to be liked, like, just learn how to speak clearly. Like, you can say anything about MrBeast, but one thing that he does super well, that his articulation is just so on point. Even I cannot do it. Like holy shit, he just speaks so loudly and clearly. And people like resonate with that, because when you're saying something, you don't want people like squeezing their ears, like trying to decode what you're saying, as if it's some Enigma code or something, right? There is so few people that actually can speak poorly and still be famous. Probably XQC is just a total exception. He can barely speak, and yet he's super popular. And I think there is a reason why he's popular, but that's for another day. I'm almost on a tangent here. Anyways, let's continue with the video.
To stay in solitary confinement, and he claimed to basically be tortured, not allowed to sleep.
Yes, like going 5 days without sleep, that's... I think that might be borderline deadly, actually. That's... You might think that's, he's just being pussy or whatnot. No, guys. Sleep is super important. Look at the Brian Johnson guy. Like, he structures his entire life around sleep. Let's not get into tangents. Let's just continue.
Because the lights were on the entire time. He was made to run a marathon with no training.
I just wanted to make a point that he's just not being a pussy here, okay?
Lots of brutal stuff and pressure to stay in the challenge. Now, turns out MrBeast actually reached out to Jake Weddle, apologized, and offered him about $200K as the remaining money that he would have won if he completed the challenge. Here's a clip.
He said, hey, I wanted to reach out and say I didn't mean to cause you mental stress with that video, and I apologize. Clearly, it had an effect on you.
I don't believe him. I don't believe him.
You mentioned you like to be paid out the rest of the prize money.
There's like a bully that comes up to someone after they are forced to make an apology.
The other $190,000. And I'd love to make things right with you. I have
did you have school bullies in your elementary school and had the teacher apologize for their misdoings, for their misdeeds? This is exactly how it goes like.
Zero expectation of you mentioning me sending you this money publicly or taking down any videos.
All right.
This is just me wanting to help you out and make sure you're good. I just need to know if you still have the same bank or not. We'll send you the money on Monday. Wish you the best. There was no lawyers around. It wasn't a spectacle. There was no camera in my face. I respected that. That's how I would have wanted it to go down. But I...
See? I don't know what he said there. I don't know what he said. Man, you have to fix this. Man, I think you have a huge potential, but you have to speak clearly.
There was no camera in my face. I respected that. That's how I would have wanted it to go down. But I couldn't take it. I couldn't take 100. And I just couldn't take it because it's still a mechanism of the game. It's still like the rest of the prize money, and that's not what it was about. Would you like $190,000? Oh, that's the thing. I know. I don't want you to think that you got to take any videos down. I don't want you to think you're. You don't have to post anything because I don't want it to look like I'm buying you out or you're being silent. I want you to keep doing what you're doing. This is just for me to make things right. I respect that. I appreciate that. But you know how it looks, for you to give me this cash that I desperately need, right? I want my audience to trust me.
Okay, he is kind of funny.
I want to remain credible. Yeah, totally. So I can. You don't even like post about it. Don't worry about it. Just take this cash. I just don't. Counter offer, 50. You save $140,000. You just give me 50.
Okay, it's good that MrBeast is...
I think this Jake Weddle guy, like, he has potential, but he needs to work on his articulation. If he nails that, man, he's just golden. He has this huge boost, like, in exposure from this. I think he can pop off. He can pop off big time. That sounded weird. Anyways.
Trying to make things right. Now, some would say it's a PR move and he knew that Jake would talk about it. But regardless, that is the least he could do, is to compensate Jake and issue an apology. As for Jake, he accepted only $50K of that money and he denied the rest, claiming that he wants to make his own money from now on.
Right.
Now, that's completely fine, but one thing I didn't like about Jake Weddle's presentation here is his title and thumbnail. It says, "I caught Jimmy in a secret recording."
Hey Jake, I work at MrBeast. Jimmy doesn't know I recorded him saying this.
And the video starts off with a fake AI video of MrBeast talking.
That's right. I got that sent to me, and you know what? That was AI. Yeah, that was AI.
And he knew this.
Man, I mean, like this guy and the dogpeg guy, they also like, one thing is articulation, but also like you just cannot mix and match like irony in such a serious circumstances. Like if you do it, you have to make in advance sure that everyone knows you're doing it. It's like, what would be a good example? Yeah, I cannot come up with an example, but you see what I mean here.
Recording was fake as well, so it's just a weird thing to do. I really encourage anyone who comes out with a MrBeast story to be more careful about what you say or do, because genuine advice, you can lose public favor very quickly. Now moving on to a guy called Ty Orr.
Yes.
This guy made 2 videos on MrBeast.
100% agree. 100%. If you go from being a totally nobody, like totally unknown person, and suddenly you have like millions of people watching you, like millions of eyes on you, like you have to be super careful with what you say. And I can imagine this being super stressful for him. And I don't think he's doing the best job at it.
Calling him a thief and a liar. Basically, this is someone who is trying to be on MrBeast's idea team. He claims that MrBeast stole his idea and did not pay him for it. Now, the idea in question is the sort of...
I mean, the idea was super basic, right? It was something that you were... It was something that you would have drawn if you were like a 5-year-old in kindergarten, like... coming up with idea for some fun TV show, right? It's not like it was some spectacle of creativity or something over here, all right? But it's like, yeah, yes, MrBeast should have paid him. How much? I don't know. Maybe like $200, maybe $1,000 maybe, or $2,000 or $3,000 max, with the like flight. Like he took a day off for this, right? Maybe there's a lost opportunity cost. Like he could have been doing something else that's more useful. He had to travel. And you can make an argument that he should have paid him more than $3,000, but he wanted like 1.7 million, which is like, man, like for this kind of idea, it's like, man, just what are we about here? What is this?
Of floating platforms for a challenge video, and then you got a bunch of obstacles similar to the game Fall Guys. Now, is it a unique idea? Personally, no. I think it's plausible that someone from the MrBeast team also came up with that, and it's also plausible that they didn't, and they actually did steal Ty's idea. Now, MrBeast team responded with a message showing that they already had a similar idea, so...
I believe this. I 100% believe this. Like, this is not some this is not like coming some like genius math proof or something, or like some cure for cancer, and it's like, oh, he stole my research. No, this is literally kindergarten stuff, guys. It's yeah, let's
so take that as you will. Now, I feel like if you have someone apply for a job and go physically to your location and do some work, I feel like you should compensate them just a little, even if they didn't actually get the job or do a good job.
Yes, there's opportunity cost. I don't know if he had jet lag. That's a factor as well. But
the problem is Ty Orr's intentions are in question now, because initially when he uploaded the video, he linked a GoFundMe for $1.7 million. He has since taken it down.
One thing that MrBeast has going for himself is that all of these his victims are doing such a obvious fuck ups. It's like, wow, who could have guessed that doing 1.7 million GoFundMe campaign would be unpopular, guys. Who could possibly conceive that would be unpopular, guys? My god. If only I knew that's a bad move. Guys.
GoFundMe.
Look how sad he is. Guys, don't you wanna, like, give him, like, millions of dollars for, like, not being paid one day?
For $1.7 million. He has since taken it down after a severe backlash and apologized in a comment refunding the money. Last I checked, despite getting 2.5 million views, he only got like 20 donors and about $400. Maybe more,
Thank
I don't
God.
know. But this is not a noble move. This is the bare minimum after pulling a stunt like that. There is no reason the public needs to pay you
That's what
1.7
it was. A stunt.
million for an idea. That is ridiculous. Even if MrBeast wants to compensate you, an idea like that, which is literally just Fall Guys the game, let's be honest, is worth maybe $1,000, maximum, like super generous $50,000 for that idea. And you should ask that compensation
I think
from
$50,000, that's super generous. Now, it is true that MrBeast is a like, I don't know if it's true, but I have a stroke. It possibly well could be true that he's super rich. Alright, that's what I'm trying to say. And he could afford to pay this guy $50,000. But the thing is, you have to look at it from the supply and demand perspective. Like, how many people are there that could come up with this kind of idea? Thousands. Like, this is not a unique idea. This is not a cure for cancer. This is not like some math proof for like Fermat's last theorem or something, if that rings a bell to you. This is like literally 5-year-old kid could have done this. And well, how much money do 5-year-old kids? Well, 5-year-old kids can't work, but let's say you hire a 16-year-old working part-time on some idea department. Well, this is like a $5 an hour job. He could have gotten this idea for $10, $20, because the supply is so high. And although it's really kind of hard to put money on something like an idea, but it's just so generic that, like, asking for thousands of dollars for this, it really rubs me the wrong way.
MrBeast, not the general public who is already struggling to get by. Now, in his second video, he alleges that MrBeast just gets free labor from people by asking them to apply for a non-existent job, which again, I can't confirm, but he says he
I haven't seen this video.
won't apologize for the GoFundMe anymore, but he already said sorry in a comment. I don't know. I feel for him if it's true, but I can't excuse clown behavior, alright? Now moving on to...
See, this is problem if you get too famous too quickly. It's just like fuck up after fuck up. Because it's stressful. Or at least I would think so. Not that I would know. Yeah, I wanted to say one thing that all of the companies do this. It's like, tell me honestly if you know someone who had something like this happen to them. And also, it could have happened to yourself. Like, you go for a meeting, like, to see whether you are a good fit for the company. And they give you homework to solve something. And then you solve it, and they are like, alright, thanks. And then you never hear from them again. This is super common. Super common. Super
He says
common.
he won't apologize for
Not that it's good. Again, like, MrBeast, he's a public figure. He should have known better. He should have paid everyone he has money that he can afford it. It's really, it rubs the people the wrong way. He should have done better, but it's not something outrageously like he's some supervillain for this. Let's not pretend that he's some supervillain for this, because this takes away from the hiring of private investigators, if that's what he's doing, right?
GoFundMe anymore, but he already said sorry in a comment. I don't know. I feel for him if it's true, but I can't excuse clown behavior, all right? Now moving on to MrBeast's girlfriend. Half the things that are said are not true. I wouldn't be with him if they were. MrBeast's girlfriend defends the YouTuber following the recent allegations. Now people are memeing this response saying, wait, what does she mean by half? Half, and we got...
You can make an argument that she doesn't know what she's saying. Alright, not everyone is good at math. This could be a figure of speech, alright? Alright, I can make an argument for that.
Walter White with a cell phone. Only half, the smile of an empty vessel. Alright, so basically it's too vague to actually say anything. His ex-girlfriend came out too, saying that she's been silent for years, and vaguely saying that we...
That's his ex-girlfriend. She looks almost exactly the same. No, not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just kind of like, it's just kind of funny. But many people have it like this.
His ex-girlfriend came out too, saying that she's been silent for years, and vaguely saying that
I think I have this as well. It's not like it's...
We need to protect women from people like that. She doesn't actually mention Jimmy's name, but...
He looks so dead. Look at that picture, he looks so dead.
But take that as you will. Now moving on, Rosanna also posted a video about MrBeast's leaked document, which showcases some of his...
I just wanted to make a point that is kind of funny that I almost, like, if he didn't say that, his ex-girlfriend, I wouldn't even have noticed that that's a different person. And I think that's kind of funny.
Like that. She doesn't actually mention Jimmy's name, but take that as you will. Now moving on, Rosanna also posted a video about MrBeast's leaked document, which showcases some of his work culture.
On to page 17, own your mistakes. This coming from Jimmy, someone who has never owned his mistakes, never taken accountability, and never apologized for any of his poor behavior. I hate excuses and despise with my entire soul when people just try to save face instead of learn from how they've messed up.
All right.
Pull all-nighters weeks before the shoot so you don't have to days before the shoot. If you planned with adequate time, preparation, and staff, your staff wouldn't have to be doing all-nighters. Never do anything that can make us...
I think he wanted to make a point in this document that you should not put off your work towards the last minute, right? Like, this doesn't have to necessarily be bad.
Look bad from a PR perspective. We don't fake
Now, is that
things.
something? Isn't that something? Right, guys, where is it?
From a...
Never do anything that could make us look bad from a PR perspective.
PR perspective.
Right.
We don't fake things. The absolute delusion. Yes, you do, Jimmy. You pick the best company in America to do it at. The delusion. I would love to see the benefits of the best company in America. From what I'm hearing, you don't even like people taking holidays off, such as Christmas. This sounds like the worst company to work for in America to me. This isn't a stepping stone. This is your final destination.
You would think that MrBeast actually paid someone to write something like this, but it really sounds like he wrote it in his voice here, which is kind of funny. It really depends how he implements these rules and how strictly he follows these guidelines. Like, is he actually working people to the bone? But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, there's also a situation with Ava Chris Tyson's partner, Irit, defending Chris Tyson, and a situation regarding a potential SA victim
This person still has online presence? Like, that's some balls, man.
Named Jess. Now, if you want more details regarding that, you can check out Exate's video on it.
Ava Chris Tyson's current partner is alleging that MrBeast and his investors are trying to keep everyone quiet about the recent allegations. An alleged leaked Discord message from Chris's partner goes into detail about what's happened behind the scenes at MrBeast's company since Chris was removed, as well as attempting to defend Chris against every allegation, and even claiming at one point Jimmy had tears in his eyes while firing his first subscriber.
That was Chris Tyson? I mean, of course, like, he would be sad about that. Like, imagine you have a childhood friend of that you known since forever, and suddenly it turns out that they're like a huge fucking creep, and they changed their gender and whatnot, and like, of course, like, everyone would be sad about this. Everyone would be like, wouldn't you be sad about this? I certainly would.
Chris Tyson.
But we're going to refrain from covering this until it gets a little bit more clear as to what's happening, because it seems like Irrit is just blatantly lying regarding a lot of things. Anyways, that's pretty much it for all the updates. Dogpack Part 3 should be dropping soon, and we'll see what happens when that happens. Till then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Alright. Well, wasn't that something? Wasn't that something? I mean, the biggest offense that I think MrBeast is making, that he's removing the comments, and there are these allegations of hiring private investigators, which is the biggest allegation in my mind. In my eyes, that's the worst thing, because that's something that Vladimir Putin does. That's not something that a normal person would do. That it's really low. Alright, I'm sick of people saying that Pegasus is milking this drama. We need more people to know about this, more videos on the MrBeast allegations, the better. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and see you next video. Bye guys.